Welcome to the next chapter of As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. I'm excited to welcome back Jolie Lindholm from the Darling Fire to the podcast. The Darling Fire will release their incredible new album, Distortions, next Friday, September 16th on Iodine Records. After my chat with Jolie, I have a review of the new album, so stick around for that. Jolie talks about getting connected with Iodine, the Darling Fire's shift in sound, navigating the changing musical landscape, and more. It was a lot of fun to get to have Jolie back on the podcast. Huge thanks to Casey from Iodine Records for reconnecting me and Jolie, and I hope you guys enjoy getting to hang out with Jolie Lindholm from the Darling Fire.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
The background's very fun.
Yeah, you like the Aurora Borealis?
It's very nice. Have you been?
Good. Thanks for having me back. It's been a while.
Yeah, just like January 2019.
Yeah.
It's a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
totally.
before time.
Before the weird shit happened.
Yeah. When everything went weird. It's good. How was, I mean, other than awful, how was COVID for you and the experience? And
It's definitely been weird.
yeah.
There have been some good things that have come out of it too, though, because it gave us time to kind of reflect on what we were doing with the band. And so, there have been some good things as well.
Yeah. What about that time let you to change? Like what in the band changed in that moment? And
we definitely had time to develop the music a little bit more. And there were a lot of songs that were written and some that were thrown out to get to where we are now. So that's definitely something positive that came out of it. And it also gave us time to take a break from the general rat race, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Somewhat,
Yeah. Dark Celebration came out summer of 19. So did you feel like you had some time there and to promote it and get the leg up and start, making a name for the band? Or was it just oh man, we're just getting going and we have bigger things for 2020 that have all been undercut?
Yeah, it was weird because everything started to happen right, not long after the album. So we didn't really have time to tour for the album or really do anything as far as live shows. We hadn't done anything for at least 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Until recently. So yeah, it was definitely a shame to have to wait to do anything and just kind of but it did give us time to work on new music and reflect on what we had done and what we wanted to change basically about the band. So
yeah. Were there personal things in your life that COVID allowed you the time to work through? I know that's a thing a lot of people went through. I mean, I got sober during the pandemic and that was a huge thing where people were just well, now all I have to do is reflect on myself.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it takes it basically sheds a lot of things that aren't important in your life, I guess, and makes you rethink everything about what you're doing. So it totally did that. As far as what I was doing for work and then with the music. And so it definitely made me focus on what was important. And it was just a very strange thing to have your entire life just stop kind of for a while.
Yeah. you guys are releasing this new record on Iodine Records. What led you to Iodine?
Yeah, so basically, Casey found us because of Rocking Horse on social media, and I think he started following us. And after that, Geronimo and and the band had been working on some music. And so Geronimo said to me, my husband, the guitar player for this band, for Darling Fire, and the bass player for Rocking Horse, he said, why don't we reach out to him and see what he's doing, and maybe he'd be interested in putting out the album, because we were going in slightly different direction. So, I reached out to him, and he said, I'm not really interested in doing anything new right now, but if you want to send it, I'll listen to it and see what I think.
Yeah.
So we did that. And then, as you can see, things changed for him a little bit after that. So he did decide to, that he was interested and wanted to see where it would go. And then, one thing led to another, and we decided to put the album out with him.
That's awesome. It seems like the perfect fit. I was talking to Nathan Gray earlier today, and it's like, Iodine is in this place that's like, it's like classic artist and then like older artists, new bands. And so like, it's such like this cool space for bands, and such a cool label and a cool thing that Casey's doing right now.
Yeah, totally. It's awesome. We really love like just the whole vibe of the label, and our bandmates are kind of from all different scenes, or the same scene but all different genres in a way.
Yeah.
It just comes together and it all works together.
Yeah.
So we're really happy where we are.
Yeah. The album is called Distortions. Where did the name come from?
It's kind of a play on words, I guess you could say. That Geronimo came up with that name, really. So, it's literally distorted guitars, but also like a distorted perception, because of everything that's been strange for the past few years. So it kind of has a double meaning, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that reflect the lyrical content? Did your writing change over the pandemic, and what you wanted to say and how you wanted to use your voice?
It totally did. I challenged myself, and like with the music in general, we really, pushed it as much as we could. We just kept like, seeing where we could go with it. And that's why it ended up in this heavier kind of place. And even vocally, I challenged myself with, lyrically and also melodically, and just in general, kind of like pushed myself as much as I could for this album, and really happy with the way it came out. It feels more genuine to me than ever, personally. So yeah, it definitely does. The whole thing did change the songwriting as well.
Yeah. Yeah. What led you guys into that kind of heavier space? But it's not just heavy, because it's very atmospheric, and like the reverb is cranked up on all the guitars. Like it's very spacey as well. Like
cool. Yeah. We were listening to a lot of heavy stuff like Hum and Deftones and things like that. And you can probably hear that a little bit in the influences. Although it is different than that, I feel like we are different than those bands, but we were kind of listening to that kind of music. And then, all of us come from different kind of musical backgrounds as far as what we're interested in. And so, we kind of bring that all together to get what you hear. But yeah, definitely listening to some heavier music and just wanting to see where we could go with guitars, and we continue writing in that direction basically from here too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Now that you say it, I can hear the hum in it, and like thinking about Inlet. Cool. Just that record's been on repeat since it was released. So
cool. Yeah. I mean, we wanted like people to have something, to like wanted to like create movement with the music, more this time. And just, this is just like what we felt like we wanted to hear ourselves,
Yeah.
So
that's cool. What led to the decision to work with Jay Moss?
Yeah, so Jay, he was in Defeater
Yeah.
and he's worked with Bane. So we listened to some of his other work and we felt like we really wanted to get like a certain sound and then
Mhm.
we felt like he could really bring that out with us and he definitely did. So we're really happy with the way that things came out. We experimented a little bit there and it was fun to like go there and just, we stayed in his house and just kind of like worked, until we were done. And we went there, the first time we had written 5 songs and we went there and recorded those with him and we loved how those came out. When we went back the second time for the second half of the album, we had some ideas about just in general what we wanted to get sonically. And he was able to help us bring that out and really get that like, thick guitar sound that we wanted.
Yeah.
So, and also
Yeah.
the kind of atmospheric vocal effects and things like that. We were able to get that with his help, In circles, you've spun me, you've spun me.
Yeah, you can hear like that distinction is as you guys like change your sound and like what Jay Robbins brought to Dark Celebration versus like the 4 singles so far, what like that sound is and what Jay has brought to the band and like how much like grander it is in scope as an album sonically.
Cool. Yeah, totally different. Like, I mean, in my opinion, when I listen to the other album, there's a totally different kind of sound overall. Those songs, needed. And I feel like these songs needed something a little bit like a different treatment. So yeah, totally. I think you can hear the 2 different influences from the producers as well. You'll always be here under the moonlight and in my thoughts by the dark side. Your golden hair shone bright, 2 hearts sitting close by the new river down by Riverside.
Going away from Darling Fire for a second, how'd the cassette with Friend Club come about for the Rocking Horse album?
Oh yeah, that was awesome. So Rob reached out and asked if he could release that, and we were like, sure. You have to get in touch with EVR though because we don't own that album still. So he did have to reach out to EVR, and it was a cool little thing where we had some contact with them again to get that cassette made, and it was really fun to just because we never had that before.
Yeah.
We never that album actually never came out on vinyl or cassette. Hopefully one day on vinyl, we'll see. But yeah, that was a lot of fun to work with. Rob was awesome to work with, and yeah, it came out awesome. It was really cool to see it all come together. We actually, I think he actually reached out to the original artist as well, Rinzen. That's who did the original artwork for the album. So he was able to reach out to him and put that all together and make a really cool little package.
Yeah, it's a fun little cassette. I bought one as soon as he announced it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fun to have. Who worked on the album or the artwork for this album?
So that was Man Alive Creative.
Okay.
And we basically, and also Moon Crystalite is that's her Instagram actually, but we reached out to the artist that did the photographer who provided the photographs for the album as well. We wanted something like, we wanted a sort of a certain vibe for the album. And yeah, we're really happy with the way the artwork came out. And in fact, I guess I'll give this away. The Polaroid is actually of me when I was a kid. So the Polaroid that you're seeing with some of the singles
Mm-hmm.
that have come out, that is actually an actual Polaroid of mine that I've had for a while that my mom took of me.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so that's an actual Polaroid from my
That
childhood.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That,
yeah. So, but yeah, we're really happy with the artwork. Tom did a great job with that, and we were able to use some, handwriting pieces as well of the lyrics and everything. So you'll see when that all comes together. I think just pieces have been released at this point for the most part.
yeah. Yeah. You guys just did a string of dates with Anthony Green. How were those?
We did. Yeah, that was so fun. It was awesome to meet him for the first time and everything. He's kind of been around for the whole time that we had with Rocking Horse and stuff like that. So yeah, it was really cool to meet him, and we had a great time with his audience. We didn't know how we'd be perceived because we were completely different sonically from him.
Yeah.
But but they seemed to enjoy it. The contrast. And yeah, he's an awesome guy. He's super nice,
Yeah.
and friendly in person and everything. So yeah, and his audience loves him. They're dedicated, definitely. So there was a lot of sing along happening, and just really engaging audience the whole time.
You guys are playing Furnace Fest. You guys had to drop out last year. What's the rest of this year look like for you?
Yeah, so for right now, we have an album release show that we just announced a little while ago, actually, which is going to be on the 17th of September. And that's in the Orlando area. And then after that, it's, Furnace Fest. We have a pre-show. Then we have Furnace Fest. And then after that, it's we have another local show in Bradenton, Florida, with some friends. And then it's Fest and a show with Nathan Gray, actually, after that, and the Iron Roses.
Nice.
So, and that's pretty much for now what I can announce. We might have something else in November and possibly the end of the year. And then we have some things in the works for next year as well. Well, we actually, tomorrow, we're actually filming a video for one of the singles. I don't want to say which one yet because it's not going to be announced for a little while, but we're going to be filming a video. So it should be a lot of fun to spend the day with a videographer that does awesome work. And yeah, I can't really reveal anything yet, but it's going to be good, I think.
Awesome. That's what I was going to ask you about. I was going to ask you about the singles and the process of choosing the singles. That is like so much work these days, and like the strategy in releasing singles and the importance of sometimes people release the whole record on single before it comes out. Like, how has that process been like for you guys? Are you working with Casey, or is it just like, these are the ones you want to introduce in order?
Yeah, as a band, we had a discussion about which songs we felt should come out in a certain order. Machina and Clean Hands were two of like the earlier set of songs that we wrote.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Rituals and Amber are two of the newest songs that we wrote for the album. So we kind of had a discussion about how we want to, what we felt would be a good introduction to the new sound that we were going for, and which order we should kind of go. And then we presented to Casey and he agreed. And that's really, it was a bit of a discussion over time, to figure that out. But I think we were on the same page as far as that goes.
Nice. There's about a month till the record comes out now. Are there more singles on the way, or just like, this is enough of a taste?
No, there's actually one more that will be revealed soon before the album comes out. And then after that, the rest will be revealed.
Yeah.
So, we do have one more to present before the album actually comes out.
Awesome. Is that a different way of thinking about this than when you were doing Rocking Horse, or even from the first record? I don't think you guys dropped as many singles.
Yeah, totally. That was Casey's idea, actually, to reveal more singles. And I do agree, there are some bands that release albums solely on single, and then like a full length will come out later. So yeah, it's just a new way of doing things, I guess, that people are used to. And it kind of keeps things going until the album, rather than having such a long waiting period before the album comes out. So, and we're happy to release it. I mean, it's for us, once we record and we're done with it, it's like torture to wait to get it out there,
Yeah. Have you guys embraced the social media side of music? Like, there's so much where people spend so much time on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever. Like, is that something you guys have embraced, or is it still just like listen to the record?
Yeah, no, we have
both, obviously.
No, we have played the social media game. I mean, we haven't gotten involved in TikTok and like much of the Instagram live yet. We've been told or suggested to do so, but we haven't gotten involved with that quite yet. Maybe one day, but we definitely do use our Instagram the most, and Facebook as well. And it's a good way to connect with people, and keep them engaged, because, there's so much information constantly in your face. So, just to let them know we're still alive and we're still doing things,
Yeah. TikTok is so interesting because I know so many people use it for music, and I'm like, really? Everything is so short. But then I'm just like, I don't know. Is that a thing from our scene that like, are people like us going to TikTok? I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't really, unless somebody sends me a TikTok,
right.
A humorous one or something every once in a while, like a musical one. But like I don't think I have it. I might have a TikTok account from when it first came out or something, but but I don't really go to it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So, and it's like bite size, information. So.
Right. There have been so many instances recently where I'll hear a single and I'll be like, I'm not into that. And then I'll hear the album and I'll be like, no, I'm actually really into that. Stop giving me one song at a time. But that's the world now. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's, some people want to, like, somebody just commented on one of our things today, like they don't want to listen to the singles until the album comes out because they don't want to be like tortured with just a single here and a single there. They want to wait and get the whole experience. And honestly, I mean, when we put the album together and the order of the album, we a lot of thought went into that as well. Like, what kind of experience the listener's going to have.
Yeah.
Some of the songs bleed into each other. There's a longer break between others. And we did that intentionally, so there's something to be said about like the actual experience of listening to the album. And there's also something about the digital version versus the vinyl version. There's a difference sonically in that. And like, you're listening in your car. That's different from listening on your record player at home and drinking, wine or something, or scotch or whatever. It's there's a different experience between the two as well, So it's people's preferences, I guess.
Yeah. It's weird how much, like, as cassettes have like risen, like the act of like listening to a cassette, like something about it is very cathartic. And it's just like, I don't know. It's weird. Even if it doesn't sound great, I'm just like, no, the whole like push the button and hear things click and go, like.
Well, I mean, I like as a kid, I mean, I listened to cassettes. That's what I had. I had like Siamese Dream on cassette. I had, Nirvana's first album on cassette. Like there's a charm to that.
Yeah.
And there was a charm to making mixtapes and hitting play and record at the same time.
Yeah.
And recording the radio and things like that. So, there's the definite like charm and something, at least for our generations, that like, we gravitate toward that. It doesn't matter, how clear the signal is now. We still may want to hear that like analog or that like old sound,
Yeah. The drag and drop on Spotify just doesn't have the same feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks to Jolie for taking the time to chat about the new album and the band. Now let's talk about Distortions. I first heard Jolie Lindholm on Dashboard Confessional's Swiss Army Romance. From there, I quickly became a fan of the Rocking Horse Winter. When Lindholm returned with husband and fellow Rocking Horse band member Geronimo Gomez with the Darling Fire, I was sold before a single piece of music was recorded. The band has returned with their sophomore release, Distortions, an album that builds upon dark celebrations while shedding its emo skin to embrace a heavier sound. The Darling Fire have delivered a beautifully dark record that rides the line between post-hardcore, shoegaze, and space rock while maintaining something unique and original to the band. It feels like the band lowered their tuning and traded their Boss distortion pedals for a big muff and lots of reverb. Jolie's vocals are given space and atmosphere with reverb and are not as upfront in the mix. It gives the vocal an airy quality that feels connected to the shoegaze classics. Maybe where I noticed the biggest difference from the band is in drummer Steve Kleiside. Steve's been on some of my favorite hardcore and emo records of all time, and is one of the most technically intricate drummers in the scene. And you can hear Steve's proficiency at work, but by and large, this is some of the least intricate drumming I've ever heard from him. But on the flip side, it also feels like the heaviest and hardest drumming performance he's delivered in his career. In simplifying riffs and technicality, the band captures a rawness and emotion in the music that wasn't present in Dark Celebration. The urgency on songs like Clean Hands make you lean in to hear what Lindholm wants to communicate. But within the urgency and the driving songs are points of beauty. On Amber, a combination of keys, clean guitars, and Lindholm vocals break through the crunching guitar riffs to create this layer that complements and contrasts the heaviness happening in the rest of the instrumentation. Hers continues the contrasting dynamic vibe, a headphone song as you'll want to hear and pick apart each layer happening. The way the guitars play off each other, a heavy and light tone, help bridge the beauty amidst the chaos. Which is maybe the point of Distortions. In the midst of COVID-19 lockdowns and precautions, chaos and uncertainty reign supreme. But so many of us were able to find joy and create new rhythms and habits, and what was some of the darkest and most uncertain moments we'll ever experience, we were able to break free from the everyday monotony and come to a place of rebirth. The track that hit me the hardest was Rituals. Without looking at the lyrics, the music and Lindholm's vocals alone created such a dynamic emotional response in me. Lindholm sings, "This place is a monument to my broken soul, connected and vulnerable, revealing every sin, confess my lies." The beautiful thing about music is once it's out in the world, we, the listeners, can hear and take those lyrics to heart in very personal ways that may or may not line up with the writer's original intent or meaning. These lyrics really struck a personal chord with me. The band saves their heaviest offering for the album's closer. It's a strong statement piece that goes from absolutely brutal to close in a spacey loop and encompasses both sides of Distortions. That heavy chaos of life, but the beauty you take with you in the end. Distortions is a great return for the Darling Fire. With the huge shift sonically, the band benefits from it. The music carries the emotional weight while giving space for Lindholm's voice to soar. This is an Album of the Year contender for sure. Thanks for listening to As the Story Grows. Our intro music was written and composed by Jeremy Hunt. The As the Story Grows theme is by Bob Nana. If you like what you hear, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a rating and review. If you'd like to support the show financially, you can join us at patreon.com/asthestorygrows. Be a part of our community and join the ongoing conversation over on Discord. If you enjoy this episode, share it on social media with your friends. Much appreciated, and thanks for listening.